Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Warhammer Warcry for the channel in a different catacomb-esque map today. It's the other side of the board from last time, and we're still going to be using the catacomb rules. Going to be using the catacomb mission cards and deployment cards, so we'll get a more apt mission this time just to try and keep it a bit more balanced. And the only stipulation is if we get one that says the game lasts 3 turns, the game will last 4 turns. That's just how they balance the cards upwards when they changed editions from the original Warcry. And today it will be the Sylvaneth, for the first time in our Warcry series, going up against the Gorger Mawpack. So I guess they just have a taste for bark. So let's start with the Sylvaneth, since they are new on the table and broken into Dagger, Hammer, Shield 2-2-1. And we have their leader here, which is, and I am cheating, I'm reading off a sheet, I don't know much about Sylvaneth. The Arch Revenant is this gentleman here, and he will be joined by the other hero, Kurnoth Huntsmaster, with a Kurnoth Great Bow. Then in the hammer, we have the Branch Witch, that's the final hero right there. She's being joined by a Kurnoth Hunter with Greatsword, with Kurnoth Greatsword. And then the shield is another Kurnoth Hunter with Kurnoth Greatsword. So 5 models going up against 5 models. They don't have the wound stats that the Gorger Mawpack certainly have. They have some long range capability and they're fast. That might not serve them super well in a catacomb-esque area, but we'll see how they do either way. And the hungry lads of the Gorger Mawpack Warband, Dagger, Hammer, Shield, 2-2-1, 5 models as well, but as I just said, a lot more wounds. So in the Dagger is the Clawback, who is the leader, and he is joined by the Gorger with no weapon, so just a Gorger. Then we have the Cave Howler with the Gorger with Great Club behind. Then alone in the shield, I think once again, I'm pretty sure that's how they were broken up last time they were on the channel, it's just the Gorger with the one-handed club. And they just like smashing and eating. Minimum of 30 wounds each. The boss has 35. Very tanky. And yeah, lots of wounds to get through. And I guess I'm going to have to go see what that bing was. So with that, we'll be back and we'll randomise mission and deployment. Alright, apologies for that interruption. Let's just cut these decks. Oh, I did not realise they were all stuck together. This is a new deck of old cards. Let's just cut that and say, hey, there we go. That's one and done. That is our deployment type. And then cut the deck again, and we'll say, hey, that's our mission. And we'll just see what we get. The Messenger. If word does not get through, the resulting slaughter will be great indeed. The players roll off and the winner chooses who's the attacker and who's the defender. Forgot to do that in advance again. Whoops. Well, we can do it the old school way, I guess, since that's what's stipulated. The defender secretly picks a fighter in their warband to be the messenger and notes this down. The attacker then picks 2 battlefield edges to be escape routes. If the messenger is within 1 inch of a battlefield edge that is an escape route, at the end of the battle round, the defender wins the battle. If the messenger is taken down, the attacker wins the battle. And deployment type, Massacre. Those don't really go together, but whatever. So let's see here. We've got, the shield for the attackers starts on the table with the dagger for the defenders. And we have reinforcements coming in round 2 for, round 2 for the attacker. And round 3 for the attacker, but the defender gets their shield on the table instantly. So the defender is going to have an advantage early game, which means that actually, it does play into the messenger because the defending team has the messenger. Yeah, you know what, that kind of works. So that's what we'll go with. We'll get everything decided, deployed, set up, etc. and be back after this quick word from my channel sponsor. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. So we're back with deployment done, and this could end up being a short one just because there's not a lot of bodies on the field, and if I remember rightly, the Gorger Mawpack got an unlucky draw of their position last time they were on the table. Same is true again, we rolled off because it wasn't decided beforehand, forgot. So Sylvaneth have picked that they are the defender, so they have a secret messenger and they need to get out on one of the 2 board edges picked by the attacker. But the attackers only have their shield on the table, and once again, the shield is just 1 model. Their poor Gorger with a single-handed club who started there. Now the Sylvaneth, their hammer comes on round 3, so for 2 rounds they're not going to have them. But what they do have is their Arch Revenant and Kurnoth with the Great Bow, and then they have a Kurnoth Hunter down here with the great sword. The attacker gets to pick the 2 battlefield edges, and it's the entire edge. So it is the top edge of a table, and it is to the right of your screen now. Put little markers there just to remind everyone. There's 3 potential exits for the top of the board, top left, middle, and top right. And on this right battlefield edge, there is also 3 potential doors to get out. Now, the thing is, the Sylvaneth are very quick. I think I mentioned that when we were going over their team. So it could be very, very easy for them to get out turn 2 before the Gorger Mawpack even really gets to do anything. The one thing they've got going for them is if the Sylvaneth can't get out in one turn, then reinforcements appear right here to block some of the doors over this side. Hopefully their movement isn't good enough that this will be a 2-minute long game, but I guess we'll see, because with that we're ready to jump in. So yeah, let's get the game started. And here's how the dice ended up at the start of turn 1 in what could be the shortest game ever. The Sylvaneth got a double 2, they've used their wild die to make a double 6. Gorger Mawpack got a triple 3, and they've turned a 4 into a double 4. So the Sylvaneth are going first as we go into turn 1. I actually don't think it had a turn limit on it, did it? It didn't, so the game ends when the messenger gets out, but prior to that there isn't actually a time limit at all, which is interesting. So yeah, let's go to first activation for Sylvaneth. Well, the game got started with the Kurnoth Hunter armed with the Greatsword activating. They only move 4 inches, but they've got that wider 60mm base. There is meant to be doors on all of these, but Catacombs doesn't come with enough doors to cover all the doors on this board, so they are just all being treated as open doors. So, moved, and given that he's over here, I suspect that he's the messenger, and that at the end of the round is already going to be the win condition for them. Yeah, we might still just play on just for the fun of it, but what could you do? Like, even if it wasn't the Gorger Mawpack, it seems like, unfortunately, just getting that massacre deployment type just meant it was utterly impossible for them to win. Like, what? He's obviously the messenger. Why would he move next to one of the end boards? Couldn't have known he was the messenger, but it didn't matter because he would have reached the left side of a table. He certainly would have reached this side of a table, and you had to pick 2, so picking the furthest away one wouldn't just be enough. So yeah, that just seemed like a unwinnable situation. The one and only activation that the Gorger Mawpack are getting this round activated, and spent their double 4 on rush to get 5 inches of movement, sorry, 6 inches of movement per movement, and went into hand-to-hand combat, or close combat range rather, with the bow using Kurnoth Hunter to make sure he can't fire it, and he can't do anything else. So the Kurnoth Huntmaster with the bow activated didn't use the bow. It's got a minimum range, or sorry, a maximum, no I do mean minimum range. A minimum range of 3 inches, so if anything within 3 inches cannot be attacked. Maximum range of 20, so it can basically cover almost the whole table, for Warcry anyway. But he's actually pretty good in close combat despite the bow being the focus. 3 attacks at strength 12 with a 2-4 damage split. He decided just to attack twice, needing 3 pluses because they're toughness 3, and got 1 normal hit through in the first barrage, 2 in the second, including a crit, for a total of 10 damage of the Gorger's 30. So a third of his wounds gone just like that. So last activation for the round was the Arch Revenant. He has the fly rune mark, so he can just hop on over things, and opted to do so. He's got a massive movement. What was his movement is 10 inches, good grief. So he flew over so he could get into combat with the Gorger, and struck him with his glaive, his ghost glaive thing. 4 attacks at strength 4 with a 2-5 damage split. He managed to get 2 wounds through and a crit, but that's not all, because you might notice there's a single die over here. He spent his double on Zephyrite Tail Pincers, which is something he apparently has, which is you pick a visible enemy fighter within an inch of you, roll 1 die, and on a 3+, you do 3 damage to it, which he got. So that is a total of 12 more wounds to the poor Gorger, and 22 in total of its 30. And that takes us to the end of the round already. So at the end of round 1, surprising nobody, it turns out this guy had the message. He's next to one of the selected edges, and there is a door here. He toddles off, and that meets the win criteria for the Sylvaneth for the messenger, which would trigger the end of the game. As I was going to say, I don't even need to read out, I just did. It's that short of a game. So we're going to have a quick think about how we're going to treat the rest of this. We could just fight for fun, as I mentioned already, or move on to a new game. I don't know. We shall see. Like, this is just super unlucky. I'm just thinking. I was thinking, oh, maybe it's because we used a catacomb map, so there's so many doors. If we weren't using a catacomb map, everything would be a door. You know what I mean? There wouldn't be walls, because it would just be the battlefield edge. So it would actually be easier to get off the table with this if it wasn't a catacombs map. So this just doesn't seem like a well thought out mission with the criteria, really. Unless there was further stipulation about like who was the messenger, like they have to get out turn 3 onwards or something. Yeah, that was pretty rough. So after some thought, decided it's better to just play a different game. As in another game of Warcry, set up different table, different match, draw some new cards, etc. Rather than pointlessly fight each other. The win condition has been met as it was stipulated in what we randomly drew, so we might as well just call that there as the shortest Warcry video, certainly on the channel, maybe not literally on YouTube, but certainly on the channel. And yeah, we'll just move on and do another one, because why not? So, hope you enjoyed this very, very short one. We'll get the Sylvaneth in the next one as well, because we didn't even get to see what they do, really. I'm curious. The poor Gorger Mawpack just can't catch a break with the random missions and random deployments. That's 2 in a row now, where I think they've had one model on the table at the start of the game. Just rough. Anyway, I still hope you enjoyed despite the very short length, and see you next time for whatever we do next. Until then, ta for now.